So I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, while I did play a good bit of Odyssey, I didn't actually finish it. I got very close to the end of the main story, and then I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of busy, so I was like, I just looked up how close I was really close, so I just kind of searched up all the endings and watched them, and I looked up which one I was on the path to, which I will reveal in a moment, but, I did not do the DLCs. I do plan to come back to them one day. But a couple months ago, I posted my Mirage analysis, and now I've finished Odyssey, well, kind of, and I've also almost finished AC2, AC Black Flag Resynced, and AC Valhalla, but again, I didn't do the DLCs for Odyssey, so I was not that far from beating the main story, but I would say I've experienced most of the game. For context, this game takes place in the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta, and we'll be covering these topics: the combat weapons and, leveling system, then the parkour and stealth, then the map of Odyssey, and then the story, or what I know of it, if you want to say that. So let's get started in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Alright, so we're first going to cover the combat here. So we have two types of combat to actually talk about: normal combat on the ground and ship combat. Yes, this game has ship combat, but we're going to start with the normal combat that everybody knows. That's in every AC game. There are many positives and negatives about the normal combat. For one positive, it was really fun to fight the enemies. It felt really smooth and polished gameplay in the combat. But if your enemy was even a couple levels above you, it felt impossible to kill that enemy. The leveling system in this game was so aggressive. It's like they were a genuine sponge for your attacks. If you don't know, you get XP in this game by doing side quests and main quests, and you level up. And different enemies have different levels. Again, this leveling system is so aggressive where you constantly are just switching armor and weapons, which literally just kind of makes the armor and weapons very forgettable, to be honest. Positive about the combat was the abilities. I actually loved these abilities, and for different scenarios, I would cycle out different abilities, and you could really make nice combos if you paired the abilities with, swinging your spear or sword or whatever. But at points, your combat kind of relies way too heavily on the abilities, especially when your enemy's a higher level. You're just kind of spamming abilities, in my opinion. That's what I did. But again, this combat did feel smooth, very smooth. And a really enjoyable feature that I thought was unique was the conquest battles, or whatever they're called. Basically, since this game takes place in the Peloponnesian War, you can fight for Athens and Sparta. Let me explain. If a province is controlled by Sparta, you can weaken its power by killing the local leader and raiding fortresses. Then you can defend Sparta against an Athenian attack, or you can help the Athenians take it. These huge battles, you get XP from this. Now it's time to cover the classic ship combat. Of course, we've had ship combat in AC Black Flag and Black Flag Resynced, but I actually really love the ship combat in this game too. Let's explain a couple features. You get a crew of pirates where you can sail across the Aegean and fight Spartan ships, Athenian ships, and other pirates. This naval combat is very fast-paced, which I do like. You're constantly turning ships, throwing javelins, and shooting arrows. See, in the middle of an enemy ship, there'll be a highlighted part. And if you ram into it, it will split the ship in half. And when you take down a ship, you have two choices. You could just straight up sink the boat by attacking it with javelins or arrows again, or you can land/board with your men, where you hop onto the other ship and fight the soldiers on the enemy boat. And then you loot their chest, then you get on your boat and sail away. An upgrade you can get is fire arrows and fire javelins, where you literally get what it says. There's a system where you can find enemies around the world of Greece, knock them out, and then recruit them to your boat as a lieutenant, which I actually like that feature. It gives you if you really care enough to have the lieutenants, which honestly, I didn't really care that much, but it was still a pretty cool feature. It helps you with the combat. So overall, about the combat, I did like the normal combat, but there are still problems. And I absolutely loved the ship combat. Sometimes, I know this is very unique, I know a lot of people don't do this, but sometimes I would just kind of sail around on the boat, taking ships out. Not even for, I guess I was getting gear, but I was just kind of doing it for fun. And also, the sea shanties in this game, not as iconic as Black Flag, but they are pretty good, it's still. So now we're on to the parkour and stealth. And I will let you know, this is definitely not Assassin's Creed Odyssey's strong suit. Let's start with the parkour. Now, actually, I don't even mind being able to climb anything like the mountain. Pretty unrealistic, but regardless, I don't mind. And this game is not always based off realism at times, but the parkour can blend well with the combat and forts, and the synchronization points are very beautiful. But in big cities, this parkour is just so underwhelming. And I also have a neutral take on the feature of no fall damage. If I'm correct, the only way you can die of fall damage is getting hit by an enemy, then jumping off a place where you get fall damage. Because you might be wondering, well, how is there no fall damage? Technically, you do get fall damage. You'll just be really low health and won't die, no matter what height you jump from. But if I'm correct, I think you can get hit and then jump. And then you die of fall damage, but you gotta be really trying for that to happen. But I could be wrong about that. Unfortunately, the parkour is limited by the ancient Greek setting. While I still do love the setting, especially historically, it's not built for parkour at all, especially the buildings. But you think Athens would even be better for parkour. The actual city of Athens, honestly, if I'm remembering, it's not even that good for parkour, so they may have missed out with Athens there. But as you see, the stealth, this game lets you use stealth a lot. Great. And forts, the leader houses, and more. But there are some problems. Remember that leveling system I talked about in the combat? This also applies to the stealth. So when you try to assassinate, there's a good chance it won't kill the enemy first try. And in my opinion, all assassinations should be instant kill, no matter what. Maybe you could say maybe for a boss fight, but regardless, maybe that. But all assassinations of normal enemies should be instant kill. But now there is an ability that somewhat fixes this problem, where you can hold a button for maybe 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds, and it makes your damage better in these stealth kills. But there should not be an ability for this, is my point, and a lot of times, these quests rarely even require stealth. You can just kind of rush in, but at least the game lets you use stealth a lot. And to let you guys know, the stealth weapon is not the hidden blade, it is the Spear of Leonidas. What? It's the Spear of Leonidas, which is important in the story. I think I prefer the hidden blade, but it does make sense in the story for it to be the spear. Also, one more thing, I felt a lot of these animations for stealth kill took way too long. I'm not gonna lie. It looked cool, but you're trying to kill an enemy quickly, get back in the bushes, and it would take like 5 seconds, bro. But for the final conclusion of this section, I think overall parkour isn't great and could be improved, and stealth good at times, but there's a lot of negative features that could also be improved, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Now it's time for the map of AC Odyssey, which is huge to say the least. I must say, I love the Aegean Sea sailing. I love Athens in the game, and I love Sparta in the city capital of Sparta. It's also amazing. But as for the cities and towns of the map, I think they're done very great, fantastically. I love looking around at them, and it really captures that ancient Greece vibe for the big cities and towns. But it's for the rural side, not much buildings. it just feels copy and paste. That's a big problem with the large maps, which I don't mind all the time. But a lot of time I would just kind of throw my horse on follow road and just not look at that right now, like do something else, like maybe on my phone or something. And I think all the pirate islands that were filled with side quests were amazing. I actually really loved those. I did all those side quests. I love the different temples dedicated to the Greek/Hellenic pagan gods across the map. Again, these synchronization points are beautiful. There's also tons of hidden stuff in the map, and sometimes I wonder, I know it's probably not true, but I wonder, is there stuff like secret Easter eggs we still have not discovered in this map? Probably not by this point, but it really makes you wonder still. I'm not talking about like weapons, I'm talking about like secret messages or something. I don't know, probably not, but there are tons of secrets and caves and bandit camps and so much to explore in this game, not even including main story. There's just so much side quest and stuff to do on this map. Of course, exploration. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be doing that a lot in this game if you're trying to complete it or even get close to completing it like me. For example, something that's in this game is environmental storytelling. Like in Athens is very wealthy and rich, in the heart of ancient Greece that most people think of when, they think of ancient Greece. While Sparta, you can tell part of Sparta's own places are war-torn, while the capital is really militaristic, and the pirate islands just being chaotic and, like a resting place for pirates. As the conclusion for this section, I think the map is overall good. I think it's more good than bad. But don't get me wrong, there are still parts of it that are kind of copy-paste. But honestly, overall, the map's very solid. I actually really like the map of this game. But like the forest parts, it's just Control-C, Control-V, lad. Now it's time for the spoiler part of this video. If you want no spoilers for the story, click off the video. This is the story segment, by the way. But we're starting, so a couple warnings. Again, I did not finish the full main game, so there may be some parts that I get wrong or whatever. So just forgive me if that happens, and let me know in the comments below if I do. But the main character you play as is decided. If you want male, you can pick Alexios, but if you want the canon option, you pick Cassandra. So I may mix up the names, but remember, if I'm referring to the main character, Alexios or Cassandra, I'm talking about the main character. But I'm pretty sure I will say Cassandra. I'm gonna hope so, because I played as Alexios personally, but we're gonna use the canon option. Now, a huge strength of this part of the game is the goal of this is to have your own Odyssey, your own adventure full of thrilling scenes, if that makes any sense. Like, when you complete it, it feels grand, or when you get close, because when I saw the ending, I felt like I basically completed it. I was really close. I'm gonna stop bringing that up now, but it's like you're riding your own adventure. After a main story milestone, it just kind of feels like you've really accomplished a lot, especially when they start playing music. But the story really starts when you leave home, but we'll get there in a moment. So the game starts at the scene at the Battle of Thermopylae, where King Leonidas and 300 Spartans fought the Persian army wave after wave until they died. We play as Leonidas using his Spear of Leonidas, which is important later on, as that's our stealth weapon for assassinations. After the scene ends, we go into an island named Kephallonia from the POV of our bird, and it flies around, and then two people want to fight us, talking about Cyclops. We beat them up, and then a little girl named Phoebe chats with us, and then we hear someone named Marcus bought a vineyard. Now that seems to be our friend who took us up as an orphan, but we don't know that at this point. So we go to meet him. He seems to be an adventurous, daring friend. We need money back, and he tells us to go down into a small town, and we get our money, and we take out some bandits for a new bow and arrow. We return hearing about the Cyclops. Marcos tells us to steal his obsidian eye. So we do, and then when we return, we actually end up tracking down the Cyclops. Now, he's not like the mythological Cyclops. He really just lost an eye. And we save someone named Barnabas, who owns a ship. Or as Alexios says, I think he says like Barnabas or something. And we sail to Megaris to find someone named the Wolf of Sparta, who actually turns out to be our father. So when we were a kid, our little brother Alexios was being dropped off a cliff as a sacrifice, and we tried to stop it, So our father picked us up and dropped us off the cliff ourselves. So we do our first conquest battle to meet the Wolf of Sparta. He realizes it's us, and we have the choice to kill him or let him live. And all these choices will come back in like the 9 different endings. Then we return to the man who hired us to kill our father. If you didn't kill your father, it turns out that he's your adoptive father. But regardless, the guy, Alpinor, I think was his name, tries to kill us. So we hunt him down and take him out, and you gather clues about this cult of Cosmos I think he was a part of. And you realize your brother Alexios is not dead. He's alive under the name Diamos, and he's in the cult. He's very known in the cult, actually. So now, with our sibling part of a cult, depending what you did for our adoptive father that dropped us off a cliff at one point, if you killed him or spared him, all we have left is to get clues to find our mother. We do find her after a series of side quests for XP and main quest. And by this point, we didn't even know that our father, Nikolaos, was our adoptive father. Well, I'm saying father, but Nikolaos is our adoptive father. We thought he was a real one, while our mother tells us. So we continue to hunt down more of the cult, and then you and your mother travel back to Sparta and prove your loyalty by a series of quests to the kings. Then the final confrontation with Diamos. There's multiple endings, so let's explain them. Number 1, you reunite. The whole family's reunited. So it's a dinner scene each ending. There's you, Nikolaos, our adoptive father, Stentor, our adoptive brother, mother, and whatever sibling are eating a dinner. Then one with you, mother, Stentor, and sibling. Then one with you, Myrrhine, Nikolaos, and sibling. Then one with you, Myrrhine, and sibling. And then one with you, Myrrhine, Nikolaos, and Stentor. And if I'm correct, that's all the endings. There's a bunch of them. But this concludes the story portion. There should be more for the DLCs. But I will probably return to the DLCs one day. And that'll be in a separate video. But I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. So I want to quickly add, this video is being uploaded after my arm's been fractured. So it might be a bit before you get any more gameplay videos. But just to let you know, I am working on finishing AC Black Flag Resynced, AC Valhalla, plus all the DLCs. I only have one DLC left for AC Valhalla, being Dawn of Ragnarok. I'm probably like 1/4 into AC Black Flag Resynced, almost done with AC2. So those analyses will be coming soon. Anyway, see you.